right, we are back at Bam Bam's 11th game here in the 11th month, and November is going the way you would like to see it go to this point. What do you like out of the first 2 weeks, first two wins you've had this month?
I think more consistency. So coming off of the Middle Tennessee week, I was hopeful to see, after a bye, offensive production and defensive consistency, and for the most part, I saw both of those things. Still a lot of work to do special teams-wise from the UNLV game and what I saw. So if there's any downside to what our last performance, that to me is an area that needs a lot of work. However, it has been, they have been wins. We are gaining momentum, and there's optimism and a lot of excitement for how we might finish.
What is the most maybe tangible goal or set of goals that you've got in front of your team right now?
Well, there's I think any leader is responsible for reframing as you go. And so the team actually framed what they wanted as a perfect season to start. That was their intent, and certainly everyone believed, especially after the first 4 weeks, that that was possible and we were on track. Once Taysom got hurt, then there was a reframing of discovering and really identifying who this next team is. And that took longer than expected, not only offensively but defensively without Taysom's presence. At this point, with 3 games remaining, the team wants to finish really well. And finishing really well to them would be having 9 wins. But before putting my stamp on that, it is still Savannah State this week, and with the improvements that need to be made. Then on the road at Cal with the improvements that need to be made, then earning our way into the bowl game with momentum to possibly finish it. And so that's what's available, which 9 wins is possible. The amount of work it will take to get that is still a significant amount, and that's the way I presented it to the team. So before they just jump ahead to possibly getting 9, there's a bunch of work that has to happen even before this Saturday.
If you were to do the requisite work, get the requisite results, and finish up with a 9-4 season, how would you look back on this year?
It'd be a great season and a remarkable story through adversity and challenges that I've never faced before.
And you've done this for a long time.
Yep.
Are you saying this season is unlike any one you've had before?
Yeah, it's completely different. The number of moving parts, the changing dynamic of our team, the changing dynamic of the players, the different setbacks and where adversity has hit us and when it's hit us. It's been a real growing experience, and so I would love to finish it in that regard. That's not a guarantee it will finish, but that's what I'd like to see.
It's within reach though to you, right?
I think so, yeah, absolutely. And I think again we are gaining momentum, we're gaining execution and positive play and confidence, but substantial tests ahead. But I like that there is something still significant to shoot for and play for, and that sometimes is a challenge when you're independent.
And Christian's throwing the ball really well right now, but he can run a bit, as we've seen. Is that going to be the future model for the BYU quarterbacks as long as you're coaching? Really good thrower, but have to be able to move around a little bit? Or are you ever going to go to a pure pocket guy?
I would love that to be, but we already have signed some quarterbacks that are more pure pocket. And what I want are the best players to lead our team, preferably members of the church that love the standards, live the standards, and want to lead BYU. And then we'll adapt around that. And so I don't want to compromise that for just the sheer sake of he can run and throw regardless of who he is. I'll always default to the very best LDS players in the country first, and we'll design whatever we have to do to accommodate them, and then we'll add to that.
Chip Kelly, coach of the Eagles now, was recently asked about his style of offense, or his offense. And he says, I don't have an offense. He says, you tell me who my quarterback is, I'll tell you what my offense is. That's kind of what you're saying right there.
That's the exact place that I am. And it doesn't make any sense when you can get elite talent that is and loves our beliefs and this institution and is dying to be here and is one of the best players in the country. It doesn't do any good then to try to jam him into a box that's, well, we don't know how to coach anything else. I've demonstrated that from a 3-3-5 to a 3-4, from being all man to almost all zone to dropping 8 to whatever you have to do to develop systems and design assignments for players that belong at BYU, that's what a coach is supposed to do.
And Robert's gone pro set pocket to air raid to what he's got right now, go fast, go hard. So there has to be adaptability.
There is, and even within Christian's call sheet, a lot of the former BYU pass concepts are in there now. They weren't in there for when Taysom was the quarterback, and so
it's already gone more pass heavy.
It's much clearer because not that Christian can't run, but again, we have one quarterback currently, and we have 3 games to play. And so the amount of risks we're taking with him and allowing him to run the football are very few. And so we've simply adjusted, and that's really a tribute to Robert and his staff for keeping as many elements as possible for consistency, but then modifying and shaping to suit what Christian can do.
Now, in the Cal game and the bowl game, I don't know if BYU is going to want to see another quarterback playing, but in Savannah State, you'd think that Christian's not going to play a lot, and you'd get some other guys in there, wouldn't you think?
It's possible, and I always stop short of promising anything because crazy things have always happened, and I would like for that to happen.
And we're talking about the guys who are currently walk-on quarterbacks on your roster. Hunter Moore, McCoy Hill, Hayden Griffiths. Are any of these guys in play this weekend?
The only one that could possibly play would be McCoy Hill. The other quarterbacks, right now Hunter Moore is our scout team quarterback and really doesn't know our offense. And any other quarterback that we have, Hayden Griffiths, for example, is playing receiver for us on the scout team. And so we literally have one other quarterback that has a chance.
That could play quarterback
that
for
could
you,
play
right?
quarterback. There are a few wild card options that I won't talk about, but we have backup scenarios just in case.
Yeah. The Savannah State game coming where it does, you already said, you used the phrase perfect storm to how this game got scheduled. Can you go into a bit of detail on that?
I can go into just the effect we had a really intriguing, and this year it would have been an amazing game with a Mountain West Conference team that for some reason or another, all I know is the end result. I don't know how it got to that point, other than we had a team scheduled. And
you want to name the team or
no,
not so much?
I'd rather not. But it would have been an amazing matchup, and it would have been a great game for this season. And somehow, some way, that was scheduled, and now, going into the season, it wasn't all of a sudden. And so ESPN and everyone else was trying to find anyone possible that could play us. And so it turns into a game very similar to Idaho State in November in the snow from whenever we played them. That's what I'm feeling like this game is.
Okay, so it's a game that, it's senior day, and that, I guess, brings a different motivation to it in and of itself in terms of who gets to play and what you want to see happen on Saturday.
You know, really, as bad as this will sound, it's an afterthought. I want the seniors to have a fantastic experience, but they and I know we want to improve our team. We want to have a great performance regardless of who we're playing, and honor the seniors. And so it's not flipped the other way. It's that's one of the ways we can honor them is by how we perform. And hopefully then we can allow them to perform, and everyone that is a senior.
In this perfect storm aspect you brought up, being independent, of course, is the main part of that discussion. How are you dealing with right now life as an independent? How do you see this thing going?
I don't think it's sustainable. I think it's a place to be for now, with the positive and a clearly positive thing being exposure, which is outweighing any other maybe even P5 team, if that's our moniker now. But certainly not the group of 5. There's no one in the country that's even close to the exposure we're getting. In fact, going into this year, only 13 teams have had more national televised games than us. After the exposure we've gotten this year, I bet that number shrinks. So people can see us anytime they want, and I love that part of it. At some point, we still have to address the quality teams and the great teams coming into LaVell Edwards Stadium, and then those games also happening in November.
What's going to make BYU sustainable if independence is not long-term sustainable, do you think?
Well, so I think BYU is sustainable regardless of where. It just depends on what level we want to be sustainable at. As far as I'm concerned, I want the elite level of college football, and that's really all I'm willing to consider. And so that's the platform that I'm on, and kind of unshakable coming off of that. It's what I see for the program, it's what I see for the young men that I've recruited, and it's what I see for our future. And that's what I want.
Optimistic?
I'm always optimistic. And so absolutely that can happen. And then I'm realistic as in what has to happen, and we have to have a lot of alignment by not only administrators, but other conferences that already have said and see that BYU is that team. It's just when, and the sooner the better as far as I'm concerned.
Okay. All right, let's get to the festivities, which would be a Savannah State logo. Maybe you go with the letters and not the animal.
There's a great chance that's what I'm going to do.
Do we want to circle and get rid of Middle Tennessee and UNLV, by the way?
That's a big circle. It goes around this one.
That was 27-7.
27-7. I'll put it up here. And then this one, this is going to be more like egg shape.
There you go. Little oval theme. And that was 42-23.
42-23. Savannah State. Tigers.
Yeah.
I'm going only with the letters on this one. And those are challenging enough just based on what I see from the stay with me. Okay, so now that goes like that, and then this goes like that. So that's an S, that's supposed to be an S, and that's a U. And then,
well, you are going to go with the tiger.
no, I'm just gonna,
A little meow head. Yeah.
and there's a tiger with stripes right there.
If Picasso were a football fan, that's what he would have come up with, I think, right there.
There you go.
There you go, yeah.
Okay, yeah.